It was surreal. I was shooting in my old neighborhood. I mean, literally shooting on my old street, directly across the street from my childhood home. Working with my friends who had been away for quite some time, working with Post on his acting debut. It's hard to pick a day. I mean, there were so many great days and so many fond memories about this. And of course, being able to play the role of Spencer, is something that's iconic in Boston, and every day was pretty special.
The most fun day was one of the days when we had all the dogs in the room and they were just going crazy. Peter had probably 4 or 5 cameras going at the same time, and he's just like, get the dogs, get Winston's face, he's sweating, get the dogs, they're barking, bark for them. And then they got guys in the back getting the dogs all riled up. So it was like 15, 20 things happening at once. But that controlled chaos is kind of what adds all that energy to this movie. So there's a lot of controlled chaos, a lot of action, a lot of adrenaline happening. So, that's part of the beauty of this film.
Oh my gosh, every day was so much fun on set because it's Peter Berg, and it's Marc, so at any given day there's like Boston firefighters and MMA fighters and cops and just like manly men everywhere. Everybody was just pumped to be there. I had a couple of fight scenes. I think the Black Betty thing. The Black Betty crash, I got to see a crash up close in person, and we all had to wear earplugs, and it was real. That is not CGI. That's a real crash.
I'm such a big fan of Mr. Arkin. Like, don't tell anybody else, but he's kind of my favorite. So anytime Arkin was on set, I was really happy, and so I'll just leave it at that.
Peter's very collaborative director. He wants a lot of input, and he wants a lot of feedback, and you get a chance to go and experiment and play, and that's my favorite way to work.
He and I had been friendly for quite some time, and I remember us hanging out at my house at my wife's birthday, and him talking about wanting to be in a film and his desire to die in a film. And I said, well, I don't know if we can have you die in the movie, but we'd love to have you play a pivotal role, and you can stab me and we can have a fight. I'll beat the shit out of you. But he was really game for it. And then there were 2 roles, and I thought, Pete, to have a guy of Post stature, let's give him something a little more substantial. So we gave him 2 roles, and Pete had never seen him act before, didn't know if he could act. And then by the time the day came, Post was in his trailer doing what he does, drinking Bud Light, and Pete was like, can we rehearse this scene? And Pete didn't know if he could act or not. And then Post would not read the scene the way he was going to play the part. He was making some funny, strange voice. Pete was paranoid. And then Post was a little nervous. He was trying to smuggle beer into the state prison, which I said I can probably get 1 in the Dunkin' Donuts cup, but I can't get a whole case of beer. And then, of course, the first take, it was like magic. So lucky to have him, and I look forward to seeing what he does in the future because he's very, very talented.
Oh, it was a lot of fun, and the last 3 movies we made have all been pretty heavy and about some pretty serious material, and it was nice for us to just sort of look each other in the eye and say, let's have some fun, and bring Arkin in, and bring Iliza Shlesinger and Winston Duke and some of these really great comedic actors, and just kind of stir it up a little bit and do something very different. It was a lot of fun.
I think the humor helps us deliver a lot of the message in the film. Helps us not take it too seriously while still having a lot of integrity with the piece. So the story of this man coming back into a world that's gentrifying and changing, and not being too serious about it, but still meaning it.
Well, like hanging out with Marc is a 24/7 comedy, so I feel like 99% of the time I spend with Marc is a comedy. But I guess, yes, it's accurate that Spenser Confidential is our first actual comedy. But even there, it's maybe an action comedy. So it's a little bit of weight to it.
Well, action sequences that feel very organic, that don't feel like put on or staged too much, you know. Just like UFC is that real life martial art thing. You get that in this movie. Punches that feel strong and connect, you know. So Cowboy was fantastic to work with. Very true, honest, and showed up every day just willing to try new stuff. I'm working with a really big guy.
What's, I think, the most important aspect of him in the film is that he cares very much about Spencer. He's just the father figure. Yeah.
The ideal Spencer Confidential viewing experience is you get out of prison, right? It's your first day of freedom. You go meet up with an old friend, you make a new friend that you didn't think would be a friend, but you're sharing a room. Then you go collect your dog, and then you guys hunker down on the couch after you've thwarted the evils that have riddled the city of Boston, and you eat some, I think, vegan food, because that's what Winston eats in the movie, and then some lobster. You have to see the movie to get that joke.